President Obama's Theology. The Theology of President Obama's Christian Theocracy. Part 5. Black Theology's Origin and History. Now, I hope we're not overtaxing you with all this theological analysis and its philosophical content. But it is essential information that you need in order to determine whether or not the president is actually carrying out the work of his theology in the White House. The implication is that we have a president who is living out his theology through his political schemes, which he is setting forth through the instrumentation of his administration. Well, let us continue then, examining the theology of President Obama, because I think we're beginning to see now and understand what is this driving force that identifies his political, social, and cultural policies in America. Black theology's date of origin and its founder are vigorously debated. Among his contemporaries, James Cone is the primary founder. He's considered the chief theologian, its chief spokesman, due primarily to the number of his publications, and more importantly, because they contain fundamental normative formulations for black liberation theology that have been recognized and implemented among the black church in America. However, not everyone would grant him the status of originator. William Jones, for example, observes that one's identification of a founder has unmistakable implications for one's identification of black theology. Mr. Jones commends the adoption of the publication of Black Religion in 1964 as the expedient date of origin, and thus by implication, Joseph Washington, who was its author, as the founder of black theology. With the presence of the adjective black in his title, Washington meets Jones' criterion of vindication. He says it is a self-conscious effort to bring his position in determined opposition to its complement and alleged white theology, the precondition for undertaking a black theology being the prior conclusion that an unacknowledged white theology exists. Well, black theology or black liberation theology is referred to as a Christian theology of liberation, tied directly to a Marxist worldview that we've clearly identified. The field of black liberation theology receives its name in about 1960s, early 60s, and includes in its history Pan-Africanists from earlier centuries that used the teachings of Christianity with the vehicle of the black church as foundational to their efforts for securing self-determining existence for Africans. Black theology is somewhat distinct from liberation theology in that the teaching of the Old Testament is the story of a black nation, Israel, written by black Jews, which is a history of the struggle for freedom against their oppressors. Jesus, according, therefore, to black theology, was a black Messiah who built upon the principles of the Old Testament and whose mission was to liberate his black people from the oppression of white Gentiles. And in this case, in particular, the Empire of Rome. Now you know a little bit about the nature of black theology before its synthesis with liberation theology.